One of the big movie stories coming out of 2021, besides all the pandemic stuff and things like that, and the smash success of Spider-Man No Way Home and a lot of others, was the complete backstabbing betrayal of Warner Brothers to their filmmakers by like a thief, sneaky little cowardly sniveling bastards in the night, put out some press release without telling their filmmakers or their partners at all of our 2021 movies are going to be put on HBO Max day and date. To which all of their filmmakers said, what? You never told, what? Never had a single conversation with their filmmakers, never had a single conversation with their financial partners, just decided to be sniveling little cowards in the night and try to boost up their HBO Max subscriptions. HBO Max, which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
But trying to bump up their HBO Max subscriptions because they were trailing so far behind Disney. That was one of the big stories. And there was certainly a lot of drama that came out of that. Well, the drama's not over because apparently the company, one of the financial entities behind The Matrix Resurrections, is now suing Warner Brothers and Warner Media for the fact that they put Matrix Resurrections up on HBO Max on the same day it was in theaters, claiming that you cost us tens of millions of dollars by doing that. This comes to us from the folks over at The Verge who write the following. Another major studio is facing a lawsuit over the day and date releases of a highly anticipated title. Village Roadshow Films, who makes some great stuff, by the way, which co-produced The Matrix Resurrections with Warner Brothers, is suing Warner Media for releasing the film on HBO Max the same day it debuted in theaters. The lawsuit filed today in Los Angeles Superior Court alleges that Warner Media rushed the release of Matrix Resurrections from 2022 to 2021 so that the film could debut as a part of an internally coded initiative known as Project Popcorn. The release model would trade box office revenue for streaming subscriptions, depriving partners of revenue tied to the performance of the film. Throughout 2021, Warner Media opted to release its full slate of films simultaneously on HBO Max the same day they premiered in theaters as a part of its pandemic strategy. Warner Brothers has since returned to exclusive theatrical commitments in 2022. The suit characterizes Project Popcorn as Warner Media's clandestine plan to materially reduce box office and correlated ancillary revenue generated from tentpole films that Village Roadshow and others would be entitled to receive in exchange for driving subscription revenue for their new HBO Max. So the basic thing is this. Village Roadshow is saying, we put up money to make this movie, and we were to get a certain percentage of the box office. And you, without talking to us, decided you were going to release it day and date on HBO Max, therefore stealing money out of our pockets. Now look, I've got my own philosophy and feelings about the whole Warner strategy of putting movies out day and date on HBO. A strategy which, by the way, failed spectacularly. Completely crippled them, and it failed spectacularly. But the part that really makes me shake my head, guys, is the part about screwing over your own talent and screwing over your own financial partners. Remember, Legendary Pictures was rattling the sabers. We're going to take you guys to court over this. You effed us. And that lawsuit never happened because Warner Brothers very quietly behind the scenes said, here, take all the money.
Yeah.
But this whole notion, again, is coming back to bite them in the ass again. You screwed over another one of your partners. I just don't understand. Even if you wanted to do this strategy, why not a month in advance, get on the phone, call all your relevant partners, and let them know in advance so they can prepare for it. And I'll tell you why they didn't do it. Because of the age-old adage. It is easier to ask forgiveness than it is for permission. And that's why they did it. And now they're getting sued again. So I know, Rob, you hear about this. What are your thoughts?
Dude, I called up Village Roadshow. I'd like to just give you a little bit of history with Village Roadshow and Warner Brothers. Goes all the way back to 1989 with Nicole Kidman's breakout movie Dead Calm. Village Roadshow co-produced that with Warner Brothers. If you look at their list of things they've done with Warner Brothers, analyze this: The Matrix, Deep Blue Sea, Three Kings, Space Cowboy, Exit Wounds, Swordfish, Training Day, all three Ocean's 11 movies. 4, actually. The Majestic, The Adventures of Pluto Nash, not so good. Eight-Legged Freaks, Mystic River, Taking Lives, Constantine, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It just Happy Feet. This list of movies is huge. I Am Legend. It's huge. It's absolutely huge.
So they've had a pretty successful partnership.
A hugely successful partnership. And yet, when you remember, that was a new regime that came into Warner Brothers. Jason Kilar and all of his boys thinking they were going to do something great. You know, Hollywood is a business that's built on relationships, long-standing relationships. And all the people that always think they can come in and disrupt things, it never works. And like you said, this was not a question of whether you beg for forgiveness. This was, they effed over one of their long-standing co-production partnership relationships. It was really, Legendary was stupid, but this was a lot longer. This relationship was on for almost 2 decades longer. And they basically said, F you. That doesn't fly. That doesn't fly in any business.
Yeah, and again, you know how we talk about winning cures everything? Losing... what's the word I'm looking for making a problem worse? Losing makes everything worse.
Yeah, there we go.
Because I tell you what, if The Matrix Reloaded had made $900 million at the box office, maybe cooler heads would have prevailed. But when a movie flops, it just makes the losing part emphasized even more. And The Matrix Resurrections obviously didn't have a lot of success, but look, Village Roadshow is saying, look, we're not saying we would have made $1 billion in the box office, but we would have gotten more, and you stole that from us, so you could serve yourselves.
Even if it was really 25 million or 50 million, it's still money.
In the millions.
Yeah,
it's in the millions of dollars. So I don't know, Chris, as a working professional in the industry and stuff like that, were you surprised to hear about this lawsuit, especially now since it's been a year since it happened? This is coming out now. I guess it's not been that long since Matrix itself came out, so they hadn't. You know what? I take that back. The Village wouldn't really have standing to file a complaint until they suffered losses, and they had to wait until after the Matrix. Okay, so that makes more sense to me. But what's your take on this whole thing?
I mean, it's just wild to see these things continuing to happen, though, because it is just bad business to screw over your partners like this. And that's what I don't understand. Yes, of course, it is so much easier for us to ask for forgiveness instead of permission, right? But that's also when we do something a little sneaky that we think that's going to have a good payoff. Not something we repeat over and over again that absolutely screws over the people that we're in bed with in a business sense. Why would you want to keep working with these folks if this is how they treat their business partners?
And not only that, but the regimes at Warner Brothers have changed over a lot, whereas Village Roadshow has been financing Warner Brothers movies since the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see now, because they're about to have another regime change. The folks over at Discovery Zaslav is about to take over with Discovery. And he's going to be the new sheriff in town and running things. And it's going to be interesting to see how he makes his first order of business fixing those relationships, mending those relationships.
But I think he places a lot more value on those relationships.
He does. He does. When you look at, because after they announced that they were taking over Warner Brothers, we did some looking into how he built that empire there. And he puts relationships above everything. Everybody follows him because he nurtures those relationships. He treats everybody fairly. It's going to be interesting to see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Matrix Resurrection is about to get sued for the money it never made. Just surprising to hear about that. Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.